So today's video is about things not to put in the microwave, an M microwave. And I learned so many things, and maybe I shouldn't even use my microwave. I'll tell you, the first one is don't heat up your potatoes, or heat them again. It says to reheat. So the potatoes that you want to heat again, don't put into the microwave, because it says it can cause dangerous bacteria and cause problems with your stomach and indigestion. So it's like, okay, well, all right. And then it says, and rice as well, don't heat it again in the microwave, because it can lead to, I don't know if it's cause, it can lead to food poisoning. So I don't know. I mean, I've heard that before. Then they said, trying to boil your eggs. I like this one for boil because it's on the stove top, and you've got it in there, and here's the fire, and this is boiling the eggs. And they said don't do that in the microwave, because then they can't explode. So anyway, so don't do that. And I never have done that, but I guess people do. And they said heating water in the microwave can become dangerously hot. Now, I have done that for my hot chocolate. Put my mug in there with the water and to heat it up, but I have never seen a problem. But they said to be careful with that, because if you're trying to get your water hot or boil it, then it can damage whatever you've put it in, like if the glass is too thin or something like that. So don't do that. And they said, you're really fine china. So they said chinaware. So I'm doing fancy dishes. Don't put it in there, because it can have metal in it. So, and then that would, cause sparks and all kinds of stuff. And I found that out. I thought my grandmother's dishes didn't have any metal on it. And then when it sparked, I thought, oh, yes, it does. So, and then they said bread, if you want to heat it up, don't put it in the microwave, because now it just becomes dry and you don't want to eat it. So don't do that. Then it says chicken, cooking it in the microwave is not a good idea. If you want to warm it up, that's one thing, but don't cook it. They said because it may not be cooked, enough, and so when you put it in the microwave, you want it to cook, evenly, and it goes around and around, but it may not, and you don't want to eat anything that's, less than fully cooked, and then you don't want it dry, and so it's just not a good idea. So that's what they said on that one. Then hang on a second. And then they said, like any kind of pasta sauce, it says that it's not dangerous to you, but it can create this, this big mess, and you're always having to clean your microwave, and then it gets in there and, permeates in there, so that's not a good idea. And then they said that mushrooms, which I like mushrooms, and it says that it can be covered with bacteria after it's been cooked. So if you put it in there to heat it up again, then you've got more bacteria. So if you cook it, it's safer. But if you put it into the microwave, then the bacteria, they said, is on there. So what did they say? Yeah. So if they've been cooked already, they should be fine, because they have bacteria on it. But if you heat it in the microwave, then that bacteria is there, and it can cause some problems with digestion. So things, I'm learning. And this is an interesting one. This, that cooking oils may not be affected from the heat. And so when you're thinking, oh, you're heating it up, but if it's a pure oil, then it's not going to do anything. But if it has oil that is mixed with water, then it will, because the microwave needs the water to heat things up, and so otherwise it won't heat up. I didn't know that. That was new information. And it was telling how the microwave works. It was saying that it rotates these molecules, and here's it's just there, molecules go around like protons, molecules, and atoms, and it rotates them to warm them up. So if it's 100% pure oil, then it's not going to warm up. Nothing's going to happen. So I thought that was interesting. And of course, I think everyone knows this, maybe, but sometimes we still do, like that styrofoam, and you have to spell that because there's not a sign. Sometimes if you bring home, like if you went out to a restaurant and you bring home your leftovers, and they pack it into this styrofoam, and it says, and most people, instead of putting it on a plate, they'll just put that into the microwave and warm it up. They said that it becomes toxic. This is poison. You can spell toxic, but it's still poison, right? So toxic, poison. So anyway, and then they said there's and it says it causes these harmful or hurtful, dangerous. I put dangerous or hurtful chemicals. I would do, instead of hurtful, because harmful, I would put dangerous chemicals into the food whenever you microwave it, because of that, the styrofoam. So don't do that. Just if you leave a restaurant and then you have that container, just open it up and put it on a plate and then warm it up. That's dangerous. And then they said, like French fries, if people try to warm up, but I think most people know not, that it doesn't taste good. It's because it says it changes the texture. So I am doing the sign for like feeling, because that's texture. Texture is something that you feel. You can even do texture, and flavor. So, and then they said, like, to microwave processed meat, and that could be like hot dogs or different processed meat. So they said that's a health risk, danger. Risk is a danger. Now, this is also a risk, but that's also, look at that, right? Cutting the neck. So you can do dangerous. I would rather do dangerous. Sometimes I would do a risk, but this is also a risk. They said that some processed meats do have things in it that can cause cancer. So if you like heat up like a hot dog, then those dangerous chemicals can show up, and it can eventually lead to and cause cancer. I didn't know that. So be careful. Or then they said if it doesn't have the the dangerous chemicals that cause cancer, it can also lead to heart disease. So heating up processed meats in the microwave is not good. Who knew? And here's a new one. Frozen fruit. It says it's dangerous if you try to thaw or in the microwave. So, for example, if you have frozen fruit that you want to use in a recipe or to cook something, and it's like, oh, I don't want it frozen. It doesn't need to be frozen, so I need to make sure it's thaw or even warmed up, or room temperature. You could say room temperature, because you're not warming it up. You want room temperature. Well, many people sometimes will put this frozen fruit in the microwave to hurry up this process because they just want to go ahead and just start cooking. And they said, this is interesting, I would have never thought that. They said that it can be dangerous. They said that some of the nutrients, remember we do restaurant, nutrients, napkin, it's nutrients is in the food, so I do nutrients. Some people may not know that sign, and then you could say the good things in the food. You could say that because really you're trying to give the concept. Someone said, oh, it's definitions. Well, it can be, but you're trying to give them the concept. So all the good things that are in the fruit, if they're microwaved, now becomes dangerous. I don't like to use hurt for harmful because harmful does mean hurt. And it says because the microwave, the rays, they can become chemicals that lead to cancer, carcinogens, which is harmful chemicals. So so they just said just leave it out, and let it, thaw until it becomes room temperature. And then just different things that have sauce in it, just be careful because it could boil over, and which many of them do. I've done that. Then they said hot peppers, if you put it in the microwave to warm it up, that vapor, you can just do a gesture, right? The peppers, it can cause you an irritation. Bother, irritation. Because it's Caspian, and it is in the hot peppers, and that's what causes the irritation. Because when you open up the microwave, so it causes that. And it says it could, hurt your nose and your eyes and your mouth because now it's all released. That pepper, it releases that vapor. Those are fun signs, aren't they? And then it said, like, if you had like a bottle of water and you want to warm it up for whatever reason, don't do that because it's that thin plastic. This is a sign for plastic when I was first learning because it was flexible. Plastic is flexible. And I haven't seen another sign for plastic. So I still use the sign for flexible. And so this does nothing, and this one shakes it. And then they said, like, yogurt. I have never heard of anyone warming up yogurt. But they said be careful of, like, yogurt because it's a milk product and it can separate, so it would not be good. So check it, And then they said, all those big popular cups, Yeti or Stanley or whatever, they have metal in them, so don't put them in the microwave. Because even if they look like they have plastic, mostly they have metal in it to keep things warm or cold. So don't put those in the microwave. Okay. And we do know this, but we still do it, is that plastic wrap, and you put it over and warm it up so it doesn't dry out or it doesn't spill over, but that plastic becomes dangerous in the microwave because it'll stick and it releases all these different dangerous chemicals. So don't use that. And then this was interesting. Grapes, if they're room temperature, but you want to warm them up for whatever reason, they said it can explode. I had never heard that. So some people, I guess, they put grapes in different recipes and they want to warm it up, but they said they can explode. I guess if you cut them up, chop them up maybe. I don't know. That's interesting. They said they can even smoke and explode, and raisins are the same thing. I mean, even though they're dry grapes, they can do that. I didn't know that. And we know that foil, aluminum foil, I just do foil because who wants to spell aluminum? And who knows how to spell it? It's metal, so we don't put that in the microwave. I think most people know that already. That's an easy one. And they even said these leafy greens that are good for you, they may start sparking if you warm them up in the microwave. Who knew they would have sparks? That's electricity. And they said that the Chinese foods, you know, those, because it's paper, you know, they're containers, but they say they may have some hidden metal in it, like for like a, you know, partly for a handle. So they said to be careful with that. This article is very in depth, and they said paper bags, they can they can catch fire inside of a microwave. Some people will do that with their popcorn now, you know, instead of the microwavable popcorn bags. They'll put in like regular paper bags and put in their popcorn. But they said that it can start, you know, a fire in the microwave. I guess I could. I can see that. And then they said, you know, the cleaning sponges when you put in your microwave to clean your microwave, they said it may not get all the bacteria out of your microwave, and some are left, and then it makes it worse. So now the bacteria is left, or you're just spreading it around. You're not getting it out, and so that makes it worse because now it's going to get into your food. So anyway, that's kind of, they said that it could get, you know, rid of the bacteria, but it says that it kind of just spreading it around. If you're just cleaning, it can spread it around on the sponge. So I don't know how to clean your microwave now. Like, wow. And I don't even, they said that you know, you might want to use it in some antibacterial or bleach, and that should help a lot. But just be careful. And then they said ice would probably not melt in the microwave. I had not heard of that because it's a different property. I mean, it's water, but it's frozen. So I thought that was interesting. I think that was a fun fact. And they said raw peanuts, you need to, if you're going to put them in the microwave to kind of heat them up, or, you know, have roasted, to go ahead and take the shells off. Notice I spelled that a lot because there's not, I mean, you could do like, you know, peanuts, you know, inside, you know, you could do that. So, you know, I don't know about that. So anyway, I think that was really it's some good information, and pass it on to your friends because it's the dangerous chemicals for cancer, that it could lead to that. It could cause that. So be careful. So tell your friends and be careful yourself and what your children are doing and yourself. You know, I'm going to make sure that I'm more careful with my microwave. Maybe not even use it very much because of that and that information. So practice, use it, discuss it with your friends, and chat with them. And I will see you later, and have a good day. Bye.